So, we discussed in our last class that when Sri Krishna says that one who understands me, in essence, not understanding the acts and activities which Krishna would have done, not from that point of view, but tattvataha janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. One who understands, knows my birth and actions in essence, tattvataha, or in reality what it is. When he, after knowing or after realizing that, one who renounces, one who realizes rather, he or she doesn't take birth again. They become liberated. Now what is the meaning of that? To know about the birth and actions of the Lord, knowing that, how one can get liberated. What is that you know that you get liberated? We have concept of birth. We have concept of birth. And birth we understand as when a soul gets the body, that's the concept of birth we have. Being born is coming to the state of manifestation from unmanifested. This you can say, this is in Eastern religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. These three religions, and of course, though I don't have that much knowledge about, but Taoism is more or less the same. Belief system is same. So initially, or apparently there are two types of religions. One who believes in effect of karma and reincarnation. There is another group, which you can Semitic group of religion, Islam, Judaism, Christianity. Probably the other one or two religions, like Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism believes practically the same, but also has effect of some Semitic religious group, but still their worship of an object in terms of fire. Anyway, so idea is this, that if you believe, which we think it is logical, probably not believing in karma and reincarnation could be logical for them. Could be, we don't have idea. So the truth is this, all of us are here, we are born, and each and every individual is different. Not only different by nature, not only different by our choices, our likings and dislikings, even physically we are different. Two fingerprint, 99.9999% doesn't match. Even now you don't need even the fingerprint. You go to Changi airport, you don't need, just show your face, physical features, and probably the eye. That's enough. Absolutely unique. Then why we are so different? We feel this sentences or the thought which I am presenting is not to refute or defeat any other idea. No. This is the explanation why we believe what we believe. One thing is very sure, that our birth, our life, our body, is totally unique. Face could be similar up to a certain extent. That doesn't mean their fingerprints are same. Not their the happenings in their life becomes the same. Doesn't mean their likings, dislikings are the same. Here comes karma. We believe, and on that the Eastern philosophy lies. The karma which you do, your future is formed with your present, and your present is formed on your past. Which is logical in our life. Even if you don't connect previous life and this life, only you connect the things of this life. You studied, so you became what you are today. What you are today is the result of your actions which you have done in this life. You are born unique, could have connection with your karma. But what you are today is the result of your karma in this life, even if you don't want to believe past life. Very interesting. Eastern and Western. In Eastern part, reincarnation is not a big deal because we accept, we understand. We don't ask that many questions because it is in our belief system. That we have many lives past, which comes in our scriptures. Here also it comes. Experiences of people around. But you can say the culture is built up around these ideas. So we don't ask that many questions about theory of reincarnation. But if reincarnation is true, if reincarnation is a universal phenomenon, then it is not limited only to the eastern part of the world. Not that only it happens with the Hindus. So when the cases happen, in the culture, countries, religion, where concept of reincarnation is not there at all, there was a psychologist and one who studied the theory of past life in the Western world, called Jan Stevenson. He wrote many books on this. Famous book is that, The 100 Cases of Reincarnation. There are many. Presently also there are many. And interestingly, this I appreciate, that in the Western world, especially in America, they are open to this idea. In which way? Okay, they belong to a particular religion which doesn't believe in reincarnation. Let us objectively study if there is reincarnation, can be proved. So in generally it happens in the children up to certain age, when the memory of this birth in a way overpowers the memory of past life. So children up to certain age talk about it. There is a professor, you can go online. I have watched the videos of his lectures in Philadelphia University. It is online in that university's website. I think Professor Jim Tucker, T-A-C-K-U-R, Jim Tucker. Now this Jim Tucker, in his lecture, he's still alive. He must be much younger to me, should be in his 40s. He says, I have 2,500 cases of study where children and adult seems to have remembered their past life. Not that they came and told me. When they came and told me, I went and verified what they are telling is true or not. Now, it is good to doubt. Any research work is based on the resistance of the people of the opposite school of thought. So a lot of oppositions came. No, these were concocted stories. But he says, none of my case is a concocted stories. And he says, I have more than 2,500 and I'm counting more. The cases come, there are some very famous cases which has come to media, and more than multiple proofs have been found in what the child says is correct or not. There is a famous case of a child, now must be grown-up boy. He in his childhood is very fond of aeroplanes and tells and requests to his father and parents, buy a plane for me. So parents say, we can't buy a plane, but I can buy a toy plane for you. Toy means enough big so that a child can sit in that. So they come and fix in your courtyard on a stand, and there is a steps, child can go with the uniform and helmet and close the shutter and sound will come and all that. Practically realistic. So his father chose to buy a model plane, small one, where a child can sit. Like some cars are available for children, like that. So gave a dress which comes with the toy, with a helmet, and told the son, wear these clothes and come. So mother helped the child because he's too small, hardly 3 to 4 years old. His father says in the interview, when he came out of the home, not that as a father I was emotional to see my son in a pilot's uniform, but I was wondered by his walk, which he never walked earlier. The way he walked and held his helmet and started inspecting the plane, only a professional pilot will do, and my son doesn't have any idea of that. So his father told, there is a model of this plane. The boy said, no, this is a different model. Then the father says, here they keep the fighter plane, so here they keep the whatever, missiles or bombs or whatever. The boy said, no, in this model, bombs are kept here, not here. The father said, how do you know that? No, I used to fly this plane once upon a time. So I said, no, you are only 4 years old and we know you from the day one. He said, no. I used to fly this plane and my plane crashed, and that's how I died. This doesn't match in the talk of a child. So father said, where your plane crashed? How many people were there in the plane? I was alone. It's a fighter plane. Who brought it down? And the child screamed, Japanese. And this conversation has never taken place in last 4 years of this child's life. The father took interest, and whatever information available for public in US Air Force, it was found. And they found all the details which the child told. So the father asked him, which was the airport from where you used to fly? The child said, it was not an airport, it was a vessel. What was the name of the vessel? The child told the name. And they found from Navy SEAL Department of US Navy that during the Second World War, there was a vessel of this name. We used this plane, and the boy who is taking, his name was, for example, Jack. Now beauty is, because of the family history, the boy was given name Because grandfather was Jack, so he was given the name Jack 2, for example. But the child will say Jack 3. So the father always will tell, you are Jack 2, you are not Jack 3. The boy say, you may say Jack 2, but in reality I am Jack 3. And the pilot who died in the crash, his name was Jack 3. And this is a well recorded incident. This is not one, there are so many. There was a time when I used to take so much interest in researching and reading and hearing the videos and opinions of the people. There are so many examples. I can keep on telling you. Very interesting other incident which is there in YouTube. It's a real, there is no, dramatization. It's a real story of the real child. A small child in the family, father is helping the child to wear his trouser, pant. So obviously child has to stand very close to the father. So father is holding the pant, the child put one leg, then put another leg, and father was tying the belt, etc. So child was very close to the father. When he is very close, the child did like this and kissed the father. So father felt a little funny that anyway, child is a child. Then the child suddenly comes closer to father and tells in his ears, how many times I have helped you to wear pants. This is a real story, no imagination or dramatization. The father said, that is not possible. When I was a child, you were not there. And the child says after certain conversation, I am your father speaking. You may see me, whatever, I am your father. They say we are Christians. We don't believe in reincarnation or anything. But what the child says, so we absolutely don't accept what he says. So the father started checking on the son. If he is my father who has passed away, he should know many things, not only this. Many things he told. The whole 1 hour interview video is there. So father brought one old album, photo album, which they have never shown to the child. And started opening page after page. There was a picture of one car, old car. Immediately the child smiled and said, this I purchased in 1933. The child says, and this incident has happened in 80s or early 90s. So, okay. Like this, many proofs he started giving without anybody's intervention or teaching. Then there was a group photograph. Whole family. The child becomes sad and put his finger on a picture of a lady, young lady. The father asked, who is she? The boy is not answering. Father said, do you know who she is? Yeah. She was my daughter and she was killed, murdered. This gentleman says to the interviewer, we never talk about this issue because this happened even in my childhood. And I have heard, I have not seen. So even if we have this 4-year child, we have not talked about. How does he know? So, plenty of examples are coming. I don't know, once I have told also. And what I appreciate is this, even if that is not in their culture, but since this kind of real stories are there, they don't mind in highlighting and expressing that yes, these incidents are happening. One such incident happened which was very unique than these two. So they made a movie out of it. Real incident. You can watch that movie online. And end of the movie, there is a real interview of that lady about whom the movie is made. I will not tell about it. It may be interesting to you if you want to watch it. It's called Yesterday's Children. It is not yesterday's means past. Yesterday means of a previous life. And it's a movie, award-winning movie called Yesterday's Children. Anyway, so then question will be, here we are, how many? Total 10 people. Why none of us remember our past life? If past life is there, some of us should remember, no? At least 1%, 2%, 3% people should remember. But 99% or 99.99% people don't remember. And those who remember, we don't consider that as a authentic something. Argument is this. You are asking about our memory of past life. Do you have memory of this life, present life? Do you remember your second birthday when you became 1 year old and second year started of your life? None of us remember. Does it mean that we were never 1 year old? All of us were 1 year, 2 year, 3 years old, but we don't remember. Your memory is not proof of your existence, first of all. But this is there in our scriptures, not in these scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, etc. Hinduism, if any time during retreat and all that, I can explain some more. Varieties of scriptures are there. In Hindu scriptures, religion and spirituality is not the only topic which is written in our scripture. When you say Vedas, so people say Vedas means what? Vedas is only about God and all that. No. Part of Atharva Veda, part of many other scriptures, Puranas. Puranas are not the stories. Puranas are history. Puranas are written by somebody, no? It is not that it is a story writing, no? Then we have great Puranas. So we have total 36 Puranas. Now, even if you don't consider that as history, there are many things which are nothing but science. You may have heard Vedic mathematics. How the mathematics comes in Vedas. This is not the platform to talk. Sometimes I wish, actually last week I had a lecture which I presented to Indian High Commission in Thailand about spiritual heritage of India, that one part was the science, one part was the sculptures or the buildings, and one part of the scriptures. You won't believe. It is not a claim, but it's a theory that all the scientific development which in the recent history has taken place, everything took place after 17th century. All the famous things, whatever famous, Newton's law or your Einstein's theories or whatever, all happened after 16th century or 17th century. British came in 17th century. Muslims were there already from 11th century. A lot of scriptures, not only artifacts of India, but a lot of scriptures were taken and translated. Many British people became Sanskrit scholars. Max Muller, who was a Sanskrit scholar, studied Sanskrit for 33 years, could read the Sanskrit and make meaning out of it, and has translated Sacred Book of the East. Go to our library, 30 plus volumes. There he says, whatever the world knows, everything we owe to India. He has a famous statement, for everything I look up to India. Science, mathematics, astronomy, whatever you want to say, all comes from India, according to him, not according to us. Now you say how it is possible. Newton's law of action, all of us know. If I tell you, centuries before Newton gave it, exactly those 3 laws are there in the scriptures in Sanskrit. You have to just translate in English. Now problem is, if an Indian says, Indian scientist, we are nobody, I am not an authority. Even if Indian scientists say, people will not believe. But truth reveals one day, whatever way you want to hide it. So, I can prove you, I can give you a link if you want. Newton's law of gravitation, Manchester University in their own website have declared it should not be called Newton's law of gravitation, it should be called it Madhava des Newton law of gravitation, because Madhava has told many hundred years before Newton told, and it is in their bigger title it is written, Indians knew about law of gravitation at least 250 years before Sir Isaac Newton told about it. Not we are telling, it is there in their own literature or universities. What I am telling is, science cannot be different than religion. Why? Because science and religion both are pursuits of human being. To know something which we do not know. To know something which is beyond the senses. You don't need to write a book, oh, this color is black. You don't need to write or I must give a lecture on that. No, everybody can see it. Science also is something which a common man, with his common sense, with his common 5 senses, cannot see or understand. Religion is something which a common man with common sense and 5 senses cannot understand. You know, we have a constellation of the stars, nakshatra. So we have our own names and they have their own names and there is equal names we tell. Rohini nakshatra and other different nakshatras. In particular nakshatra or the constellation, it is made of 5 different stars. And that is depicted in one of the temples in South India. All the 12 nakshatras are carved in the stone, in the beam of the entrance of the temple. In that, this particular constellation, which is made of 5 stars, is also there. Now the question comes, the temple is 1200 years old. Telescope was invented just maximum 300 to 350 years before, or 1610 if I am not mistaken. So maybe almost 400 years. Till today, why till today? Till today doesn't mean anything. Because stars remain the same. Today, if you want to see those stars, that constellation, you cannot see by naked eyes without telescope. With this plain naked eye, you can see only 3 out of 5. With telescope only you see 2 more. How 1200 years before they could see without telescope 5 stars? And they have depicted. I can keep on telling the proofs. In Vishnu Purana, 3500 years before it is written, there is a shloka which Shankaracharya quotes in Bhagavad Gita. 3500 years before, Indian rishis knew that there were 7 continents on the earth. Saptadvipacha Medini, that is the Sanskrit part of the shloka. How they knew? In one of our scripture, disciple is asking to Guru how the earth looks. If I want to see it from moon, if I go to moon and see earth, how it looks? And Guru gives the answer. It looks something like this. You take the world map, just reverse it. Exactly what the Rishi says is true. As if two leaves are kept side by side and a pair of rabbits are sitting side by side. That's how it looks. This is part of my PowerPoint, so I can show you sometimes. Like this, there are hundreds of references which are written 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 to 3,000 years before. Even there are futuristic descriptions are there. Futuristic words are there. For example, you will answer, not me. Which word do you think came earlier? Vimana or aircraft? Which word came earlier? Of course, Vimana was much before. They say, no. If Vimana is there, you must show it, no? Within 50 years, total aviation industry have changed. And we are talking 2,000 to 3,000 years before. Maybe aircraft was of a different time. So you say, what is the proof that you had aircraft? We do not know. We don't have aircraft to show you. But in the scriptures, the very description is written about the aircraft. What is there? Anybody can write. Why don't you write something which will come after 2,000 years, right now? And if Indian rishis could imagine, why can't no other country could imagine it? Why only these people could imagine? It is not imaginary, it was there. How Sita was kidnapped from Panchavati, how Ravana took her by a small flight, no? How Rama came back from from Sri Lanka to Ayodhya, Pushpaka Vimana. Even Vimana name model also is there. And there is total description of that Pushpaka Vimana, and then they say, it is not only Pushpaka Vimana belonged to whom? Belonged to Ravana's kingdom. And Ravana had varieties of aircraft, not only one. These descriptions are everywhere. So now only, it is not, we are not here to belittle or making somebody small. No. It's not that. Fact check has to be done. And now facts are being checked. How it is possible that one arrow is darted at a time, 4 arrows goes from the same bow and 4 people are killed. How it is possible? Because we have not seen. So we say it is not possible. Some white skin has to put a stamp and tell us, no, that is correct. Then all of us will accept it. So it happened. An archer in one of the European countries, I don't remember the name, he said, when I read in Indian scriptures, stories rather, that one man can shoot 3 arrows on 3 different targets at a time. I have practiced. Now I can demonstrate to anybody at anywhere. And there is a video. He throws 3 arrows at a time and goes to the 3 targets and hits. When Mohenjo and the Harappa Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, when excavation was going on, they found the soil. And the scientists came to conclusion, the sample of this soil, it is not possible unless this much temperature is created. And it is not one piece of soil, it is an area where this temperature was created. And we till now do not have any weapon which can create that temperature. Then how that earth came? Thing is, it's not because you, me, or I from India, so I am taking it. It's not a question of that. It's science. Truth remains truth, whomsoever finds it out. So, science and religion both are pursuits of human mind. One goes externally, one goes internally. From that point of view also, when Einstein was asked, I have heard the story, I don't know how far it is true. Sir, do you believe in God? It's difficult to say whether I believe or not. He said, just wait. He went to his room and brought something, glass or something, kept it on the table. You know what happened? Yes, sir. I suddenly found that from nowhere this glass is created and came to my room. Yes, and Einstein also got mad. Sir, if there is a glass, somebody has made that glass in the factory. Einstein said, that's what I want to say. Even if a glass cannot be made just by itself, how do you think this whole world has come into existence without anybody's help, without anybody's agency? So in Indian scriptures, if this phone is there are two causes of this phone. One is the material cause, not cost, cause of material. Cover is made of plastic, the top is made of glass, inside some metallic chips, etc. So few things joined together becomes a thing, something called phone, material phone. Then the software, etc. is a different thing. But we forget, it is not only materials by which this phone is made, but there is another cause behind this phone, one who assembled all these things and made it a phone. It's called material cause and immanent cause. Agency. Behind everything, there is a material and a person. That is there in our scripture since very long. If there is a pot which a potter makes, the earth, soil out of which the pot is made, is the material cause of the pot. But the potter is the immanent cause. That means there is a maker of the pot and there is a material by which the pot is made. Without these two, pot cannot come into existence. And this logic is written at least 5,000 years before. How it is possible? There are many aspects of our life. Think, there is a simple stone, piece of stone, though it is not a stone, it is a pillar, and it's still there, you and me can go and see it. Minute carvings on a pillar of a temple, not one place, hundreds of places in that pillar and in that temple. In that pillar, in the design of the temple's pillar, they have drilled holes. You have to pass a wire or a thread which is thinner than 1 mm. If it is thinner than 1 mm, what was the drilling material was used that you can drill a stone? so thin, and still that pillar is intact. There are statues where you can pass from this ear, it comes out of this ear, thinnest wire. Wire could go, who drilled it? And that is at least 1000 to 1200 years old. Go to Gujarat, go to the Shiva temple called Somnath temple. Thousands of years before, they have written down a shloka there on a pillar outside the temple. What is the shloka? I don't remember. Meaning is, from here, from this point of the pillar, go in the straight, this direction. No land comes in between other than the South Pole. Who knew it? Who knew it? That from this point, if you go towards the ocean, towards south, there is no land in between. Who knew it? No drones were there. No satellite was there. Who has traveled all the way to South Pole? And there are 101 things I can keep on telling, which references are there in Indian scriptures. And slowly things are coming out. It's not question to be proud. It is to be proud as a human being. It doesn't matter you are born in India or America. We are all human beings. So today human being knows? No. Human being knew it 5,000 years before. We as human being, not you as American didn't know and I as Indian knew, not from that point of view. We human being, we knew it much, much before. Futuristic designs. Futuristic means not from the fashion point of view, which we do not even have understood at that time. If you find a statue, a carvings in a temple, the temple which is 1500 years old, and if you find there is a person who is looking with something in the sky, something like a tube or a pipe, he is watching something in the sky. This concept was there. We don't know telescope was there or not, but there was a concept that you can have some instrument by which farthest stars can be seen closer. So,
is it in South India?
Okay, these are very interesting questions. Why all these things are in South India only? North India was much more developed than that. But unfortunately, all the invaders came from the Western Ghat, Western side. Even those who came from South also came from Western side, Kerala. Either came from Kerala or came from Punjab and North. Not that all were Muslims. Don't mistake. Mughals were not Muslim. Just because you hear the Khan, Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was not Muslim. He was Mongol. And Mongols are not Muslims. Genghis Khan, he was not Muslim. He was Mongol. They are not Muslims. It's a wrong interpretation. Many things are very wrongly understood by us. Anyway, the whole North India was cleaned up. More than 40,000 temples, universities, structures were destroyed. Why destroyed? Because all these were full of wealth. Wealth in terms of gold and precious stones, or wealth in terms of knowledge. Go to Google, you will find so many things. It is a subject by itself which I presented there almost 50 slides. Every slide I have to spend 2-3 days to talk. So much is there information. You know, when the world was dark, when America didn't even exist 500 years before, more than 2000 years before, India had 10 well-established universities, residential. And this we don't say. Students used to come all the way from Greece, all the way from China. They have written. When invaders, whoever invader came, Britishers were the last invaders. Every invader were flabbergasted, wondered, amazed, whatever word you want to use, how a human being or how a human society can be so developed. But unfortunately, instead of preserving it, most of them came, destroyed and looted. Businessmen came, British came as a businessman only. If we were so poor, if India was so poor, why do you think they stayed for 200 years? You should go back in 2 months. There is nothing to loot. It's an attitude. I am not blaming Britishers, don't mistake me. It is the value system. Recent past. I didn't like, so I didn't save. Otherwise, I can save and show you. A professor in Britain is teaching in the class. Recent video. Recent means last 1 or 2 years. And he says, because this is how you see. You see black part, correct? I see glowing part. So if you see from British point of view, you say it is success. We plundered India for 200 years, wow. And we did this. It's a matter of pride because you are seeing from that side. If you see from India side, oh, they came and looted. This professor is giving lecture. It is there. If you want, I can find and give you the link. He is telling to the students, it is not important. Fact is fact. It is the attitude which none of us appreciate. He says, we were so smart. When we went to Britain, we went to India. This is the professor of Britain says, when we went to India, India contributed to the world 23 to 27% of GDP. Every $4 earned in the world, $1 was earned in India. I don't say, they say. And after 200 years when we left, these are his words. And England was smart enough to siphon 20% of the GDP to our country. And India was left with 3% GDP. Research have been done, books have been written. Very rough estimate, $43 trillion were looted from India. Only by British. There are so many others came and looted. Vasco da Gama, you have heard the name? Go to the history. 27 shipload of precious jewels were taken away by Vasco da Gama from India. Wherever you put hand. Now we have only one temple which till now no invader could touch and it is still intact. And out of the 7 walls, only one is open in Padmanabh temple in Kerala. If the whole temple wealth which is there today, it is there. Look at the humility of even the politician, I will tell. That nobody is claiming that that wealth belongs to India and let us take out that wealth and make India rich. It is there, India will be rich anyway. So much wealth is there till today. Not only India can become India is if that wealth is included in your economy of your country. Anyway, that's not the idea. Idea is, so many things are told. You complete the sentence, I will tell. All the roads lead to Rome, correct? Mm-hmm. All the roads came to India. Just see. And Hinduism. Maximum scientific research is done on any religion is Hinduism. Scientific research, not from spiritual point of view, only from science point of view, is Hinduism. Scriptures after scriptures. How it is written, it is difficult to say. It is difficult to say whether somehow that scientific skill was lost in between. Now you say, how it can be lost? It was there, it should be there? No. Bring a 5-6 years old child today and give in his hand one audio cassette and tell him how to hear song out of it. He will put here and say, I can't hear. Then you have to tell, no, there is a cassette player, you have to insert that, and that gives the sound. In 40-50 years, the technology has completely changed. I give you one example. Tell me if any one of you know about it. Have you heard a word called hybrid mail? Hybrid mail. You have a snail mail, you post it and it will reach to India after 1 week. That was snail mail because very slow compared to email. Now you have email. I send it now. If your internet is good, within next second you can get it. You know, there was a hybrid mail for a short period of time. It was there, but none of you know. When it was, most of we were alive or most of we were born. It happened in 1994-95, during that time. What is hybrid mail? Internet has started in 1980s. But common man never had internet. Who can have internet? Army and then government. So government found out a way. There is an email address of the post office. So post office has to say, for example, his name is Satya. So Satya Arunachalam, this email belongs to him with IC number so and so. And post office will call him. Are you Mr. Satya? Yes. Hey, your mail has come from America. Satya goes to the post office and takes a printout. This was there in 93-94. I know it. I have taken it. I have gone to post office and collected hybrid mail. We don't know. If 50 years technology is forgotten, what about 2000 years? That science is lost in between. How the science can be lost? Same thing. You create a machine, for example, or you create a software. Let us take this example. You created a software. You forgot the password and ID, and nobody else know. How you to use that? You will find a hacker, and hacker will find a password, and all that will do. Science can survive if the practitioner or the knower of science is alive, and that was necessary, that a scientist must tell it to next generation. That's why till today we have a practice. If somebody does his doctorate in any field, he presents the papers in the university and it is kept. And many people will read it. And then somebody will authorize and you get doctorate and all that. So science was lost in between. How it was lost? Because of this constant plunder of 1,000 years. Your monks were killed. Your teachers were killed. Like an Naxalite movement, all the intellectual peoples were killed. As soon as you are smart, you are killed. As soon as you are a teacher, a scientist, you are killed. And the whole bank of knowledge practically, even if it is there, new. No, none of us knew. Last more than 200 years, Sanskrit was given the last priority, and all our scriptures are in Sanskrit. How many of you know Sanskrit? Even if scripture is given to you, you can't even read. Does it mean that scripture was not written? No. Language medium was killed. So even if scriptures are till today, we know little Sanskrit, 1% only. And I am amazed by what little I know. Sometimes if I get chance, I will, with proofs and all that, I can show you on the screen. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.